Greetings. So beautiful to be here. Gonna give it a moment as usual and give people some time to show up for the live. So if you're watching this in the replay, I appreciate your patience. It's a good time, as always, to really just sit back. These kinds of videos I think are best to just enjoy like a cup of tea, just sit back and really relax so you can kind of take in these light codes, because that's really what this is. The land of 420. Hello. Hello. Glad to see you. Beautiful. I see some people are showing up. I'll show you guys my latest creation. I found this water bottle. You can find this on Etsy, the actual bottle. But then you put in crystals in the bottom. And I got these stickers of the flower of life and Metatron's cube, really powerful geometry right here. And so this has helped me a lot in starting to drink more water, because I have been so weird about not drinking enough water. I don't know why, but I'll tell you, I feel much better drinking this water, and this water is so blessed. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of this. The symbols really influence the water. You can feel it. All right. Hi, Eternal Truth. Good to see you. Happy Moon Day, everyone. Happy full moon in Leo. Technically, it was yesterday, but it's still really close. You can still really feel the strong energies. And wow. So I appreciate all of you. I'm going to start getting into it now. Thank you for being here. And we're going to just start with a little breath, with a little sound alchemy. If you want to just take a moment to ground in, breathe. I can't emphasize just the beauty of the breath. Especially for many of us, maybe we've been rushing around all day. So now is the opportunity to relax. There's so many amazing things that actually happen when you're in a relaxed state. That's when we go into the theta brainwave. And we'll be talking about that today, because we're talking about opening up the third eye. But first, I just want to do a little energy update on some things that were coming really strongly yesterday and today that I think will be helpful navigating these energies, which, if you're here, I would love to hear how you're doing and how things are feeling for you, going on in your world, because I just see a lot of contrast. I see lots of really peaceful things, but then I also see some really intense things. I think these solar flares are coming through. And, it can kind of sometimes feel like fire, fire on your ass, especially if you've been perhaps avoiding yourself. But if you've been listening to yourself, then it can be quite rewarding. Okay. So let's just ground in. Let's ground in. I need to ground in myself. I've been running around today. Just feel your body. Feel the space around your body. Allow yourself to arrive here in this moment. Beautiful friends. Now is a beautiful time to set any intentions of what you would like to experience in this container today, whether you're live or on the replay, beyond time and space. Dropping into the heart, dropping into the gratitude, into the love. Thank you. Yeah, that just always feels so good to just ground in. We've been feeling intense stress energy over the last week and finally getting some resolution. Glad to hear you're feeling resolution. I've been seeing that a lot. I have been seeing that a lot. And I'm going to get more into that today. We've got some prayer dropping. We've got the Our Father prayer going in the chat. It's beautiful. So, where to begin? It's intense. I can feel it. I definitely can feel it. I just want to, again, always start off with offering so much love. You know, it really is so beautiful. And one of the things that I hope is that, you know, from watching this, you can, you know, just feel that love, feel that light, feel that inspiration, because I don't know, I just feel so grateful. I feel so blessed at this time, and so I feel, you know, I'm able to really hold that space as well for, you know, many who may be going through a lot of intensity right now. You know, I always want to honor that. I always want to honor where everyone is, and yeah, let's transmute. You know, transmute. Um, Continue to transform. Yeah, the intense moments teach powerful lessons and helps build gratitude for the more enjoyable moments. Lucas says, "Why do you feel blessed?" Wow. Where to dive into that? Let's see. I really have to just kind of like decompress a little bit because I have been running around a lot today. So many things. So many things. You know, I feel so grateful to wake up and be at this point where there's so much to be grateful, you know, so much to be grateful for. I have a beautiful life, a healthy body, a home, you know, I have so much support, you know, beautiful family, soul family, friends, community. And I have this love, you know, I think it's really, what it really comes down to is this love that I have for myself and for all of creation. And it's an ongoing journey, of course, but I can say I've really, really put in a lot of work in this department, and it's really, really paid off. It's such a blessing. And so I just want to encourage anyone, wherever you are in your journey right now, you know, even if it is intense or you feel confused, like if you keep pursuing the highest love within you, you know, without excuses, you know, we all make mistakes, you know, nobody's perfect, but if you just keep going on the path, it will lead you to the most beautiful things. And I truly do feel like I'm living in heaven on earth. And as I've said that before, but and I'm just getting started. You know, there's so much more. There's so much more going on. But I think a big part of what it is like I said before, it's this love, having this unconditional love for yourself, because then you start to notice, even when challenges arise, even when contrast arises in your life, you know, years ago, certain things would happen and I might start to not have this, I didn't necessarily have this love for myself. So I would perhaps beat myself up or go down these rabbit holes of like, oh my God, why is this happening? This is wrong. I need to do this. And just kind of, again, go into that reactive state. And more I've been practicing to, you know, like I kind of talked about in the last video last week, just being in this flow, just really loving myself no matter what, having compassion for myself. And that's a lot of work. It actually is a lot of work, you guys, because many of us were so programmed to, how to explain it? It's like we get so, it's like overthinking. It's like overthinking and overanalyzing sometimes on these thoughts. And we can end up getting in these states where we're perpetually creating more suffering for ourselves. It's really strange. So I guess that's kind of what I want to touch on is like surrendering and coming back in, and really what it is, because it's like, if you guys can feel it, the energy is changing truly so much. Our consciousness is changing. So it's like a different state of being. And it's like a different operating system is what I'm trying to say. And in the past, I feel like many of us are programmed to try to do, just, like I was saying, even earlier, like just run around and not be so conscious, not be so present, not be so aware of how I'm, for example, how I'm feeling or what I'm thinking or things that are going on. Whereas I feel like as we come into this higher consciousness, we become more sensitive. And so we actually, it's like we have to pay attention to these things because otherwise they can build up. And it can be counterintuitive because it's actually a process of finding that love within yourself, which is always there, just, observing it and how it feels to be in that, and starting to surrender into that, surrender into that, surrender into that. Because sometimes when things get intense, that's when the ego wants to arise. That's actually when we want to come back into that control, into that tight grip of trying to control things, trying to control ourselves, trying to control people, trying to control what's around us. And really, there's very little we can control. It comes back again to surrendering. And surrendering really means allowing your higher self, your higher consciousness, God, to work with you. It's a co-creative process. And it's such a powerful experience. So that is something I'm so grateful for, because it's like I'm almost getting like this. It's like this vision of this analogy where it's like you start to kind of spiral upwards, and it takes a lot of courage. I got to say, even for myself, because oftentimes when you're doing it, it's like you're following your higher self's guidance. You're following that higher self guidance. And so that in itself requires a lot of courage and a lot of bravery, because you're not necessarily um, guaranteed an outcome. In a way, you are, because the higher self is never going to lie to you. But, especially as you're first learning to hear that guidance again, how does that guidance come in? It's through surrendering, coming back to the present moment, actually getting still. It's like sometimes you got to let all this energy run through you, without judging yourself. If you feel that fear or that doubt or that anger or depression or whatever it is, sometimes you got to let it flow through you, but not, it's like you don't want to get attached to it. You want it just to flow. You just observe it. Flow in, flow out. Flow in, flow out. You don't got to get attached to it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like when we react, we have knee-jerk reactions to the things we're thinking or feeling. Oftentimes that's when we can get fixated on things, and we can get stuck on these things, and this can last for an hour, this can last for days. I mean, I think this could even last for years. You can get really, really stuck on things, when really oftentimes it's more about just like really letting it go. I hope that makes sense, because then it's like you'll find this path of least resistance, and it'll just start to kind of, a lot of these things that we think are so impossible around us, these challenges, a lot of times in a way it's like they start to kind of dissolve. It's actually a really magical thing. It really is a magical thing. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit. Don't be afraid to get a lot of rest. I know for a lot of people, they have a hard time resting. I used to be like this as well. Have a hard time resting because we're so used to, again, being go, go, go. But, rest is really important, especially if you don't rest often, because if you don't let yourself get rest, then eventually, how that goes, your body will force you to rest some way. Do you have a love of creation in its totality, ugly and the good, as a unified thing? Yeah. Absolutely, because that's what I feel like, that's what real love is, and I've talked about this before, about this, with the difference between the organic polarity and the artificial polarity. And it's important, in my experience, to understand those differences. You know, for example, the organic light and dark within you being, your light, you know, your gifts, your talents, your beauties, and your dark, your shadow, the unseen parts of yourself, your mysteries. The light shines the brightest in the dark. So that's really holistic and beautiful, and it is designed to be in harmony. That's truly been my experience. But then you have this artificial stuff on top of it. It's superimposed on top of it. And that's what people call the matrix, the artificial matrix, the AI matrix. There's many different names for it. And that's when you get these really artificial things, like I've talked about. And how I see evil, like really true evil and stuff like that. We've talked about that on this channel before. I think it's important to make that distinction. And because it's not about fearing these things. It's just about recognizing it. Um, it's different. It made me think of something. I forgot where I was going to go with that, but it was important. Yeah. I just learned to make photos on the go. Ooh, that sounds awesome. Thank you, Eternal Truth. 2623. Ooh, that's awesome. I wonder what the meaning of that is. Oh, because it's 2623. I see. I like it. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me, whatever I was going to say there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll flow in. I know it'll flow. How did you harmonize and integrate with the negative or dark aspects of existence and self? Yeah, really beautiful questions. Well, as I was saying, I think it's important to have that distinction between organic, because when we're talking about ourselves, our egos, our light, our darkness, in these things, that's not evil. Like, that's not what we think of as like evil. This is more, that's like our organic polarity. And I guess, and I'll come back to this in a moment, but just like a side thing I've been wanting to talk about, kind of on the same topic of living in this heaven on earth. It's like, and it's not that challenges don't arise or that I'm not still growing or learning, but it's just this really sovereign kind of experience I'm really, really grateful for. And, I just kind of want to share how I've been able to experience that because I really want, I really wish this for everyone. It's such a beautiful thing. And it's been something, I guess, at the core of it, I just want to encourage you that this inner work that we do, whether it's healing our traumas, coming into harmony with ourselves, activating our gifts, loving ourselves, nourishing ourselves, many of these things that sometimes it's like you might wonder, am I ever going to, am I ever going to see the results for this? And I just want to remind you, like, you really will. I promise you, it'll be so worth it. It's so worth it to come into these higher states. Literally, whatever you have to do to get here, like, I'm just saying, like, get here, because it really is powerful. And a huge part of it, I have to attribute to being sovereign. And as I said, doing these love light shields around me, because it's not just, it's more than just a force field. It's like, I feel like I'm literally in a different reality when you start having like these high love, these force fields of love around you and around your home and your loved ones. It's just really powerful, you guys. I think that has a big part to do with it. And again, as I've said before, like, removing some of these implants and entities, I know a lot of people don't really want to go there, but I just have to say, like, it really puts you on this organic path and this organic state of consciousness, as well as continuing to, one of the greatest things as well, to go within yourself and ask the highest love within you that whether it's yourself, whether it's God, whether it's Yeshua, Jesus, whatever it is for you, that and you trust within your heart, come into that and ask, what am I supposed to be doing? That's really the key in the 5D operating system. When we say surrender and come into that stillness, that's how I live my life. I've lived my life since I was a child, and I feel very fortunate for that, because I think that's one of the biggest reasons I am the way I am, and I've always had this such amazing guidance in my life. So I just want to encourage, that's another thing, is just like, it's okay to not know what to do. That's when you surrender and you come into the state where the answers are going to plop into your lap. And so it really is so powerful. I really want to encourage, what's possible. Like, sometimes I don't think people realize what's possible. Like, and in a way that can be disempowering, but it's like, don't let people tell you what you can and can't experience, because there really is no limits when you open your heart and you open your mind. Again, if you have these beliefs like, oh, you can't experience heaven on earth, you really don't think you can, you're really, you're probably not going to experience that. You really have to, and that's where the courage comes in. Do you dare to believe? Do you dare to believe in yourself? Do you dare to believe in your higher self, in God, and what's possible? Do you dare to believe? You know, that's a big part for me. It's like I always have. I always dare to believe in what's possible. And so I just feel so supported, and I just really wish that for everyone. It's incredible, and it's possible for everyone. If you're not already feeling it, keep tuning into that more and more. I just want to encourage that, because you really can experience incredible things on here, on earth right now. It's available. This 5D energy is available. So yeah, so much love. Because it's interesting too, because it's like when you come into this higher states, and it's interesting that people bring up the positive and the negative, because I feel like that's a really, that theme really comes through right now. And what I'm trying to say is, did I really lose my train of thought again? I don't know why that keeps happening. It'll come back to me though. It always does. It really always does. Thank you, Ashman. Thank you for the beautiful 4. It's a lucky number. Yeah. Thank you, Eternal Truth. Today is actually my beautiful, beautiful soul sister's birthday. And then the 9th is my birthday. But I won't, maybe I'll go live on my birthday. I don't know. But so, yeah, I appreciate that. It feels good. I'm going to be 26. So it's going to be an 8. The great 8 year for me. The 7's been amazing. It really has. Just a little numerology there. So let's see. Let's see if I can get back into what in the world I was trying to say. I don't know. Normally, you guys, I do take a moment to really ground in before this. So I apologize if I'm a little more, uh, just feel a little bit all over the place. We just breathe. We just breathe and just enjoy it. Yeah, I guess where I was going with that. Yeah, I remember now. See, thanks, guys. It just needs a little help from my friends. um, yeah, it's interesting because the more you come in, I feel like the more you come into these higher states, the more you see, like, you can see the duality. You can see what I'm calling the artificial matrix, or maybe what you would even call evil, for what it is. And another reason it's important to make that distinction between your light and your dark, and this artificial evil that you see of, like, and I don't like to even bring this in the conversation all the time, but evil is a real thing, and it's really like it goes really, really far. It's not something you want to merge with. Me personally, it's not something I want to merge with. I acknowledge it and I know how to deal with it, and that's a part of being sovereign. You can't deny it. You have to be aware of it, in my experience, because it's everywhere. But it's not something you want to merge with. Sometimes I think people get the organic darkness within us. Again, the polarity, our mysteries, the unknown, the unseen, the lack of light, and they get that mixed up with things that are actually, like, nefarious. And there is a difference between those things, 100%, in my perspective, in my experience, as as a spiritual being, as a healer, as a reader, you know, all these things. And we are all healers. We all have inner healers within us. So it's just important to recognize that, because that's another way evil things can manipulate you and trick you. But anyways, another thing I want to say on that too about being sovereign, because it's really about being sovereign. I think sovereignty seriously is like one of the most core teachers on earth at this time, if not has it always been. But truly, if you're not really like flexing your sovereignty muscles, um, there's just so many things that will try to infringe on you. And again, I only bring this up because I want to empower people, because there's a lot of things that I see, in the world around me. Because, like I said, I truly feel like I'm in heaven on earth. And I'm not saying that to brag, I'm saying that to inspire people that it is possible. And again, a lot of it has to do with being sovereign, um and like just knowing it's like knowing your rights as a child of God, knowing who you are, like having courage, having that warrior spirit, having that love. It's really what it is. That's what unconditional love really is, you know so a lot of times in the world, when I go out into the world, I'm a little bit mind blown at at how much infringement there is, and another way to say that, I just want to make this really clear. It does blow my mind a little bit sometimes how, even in things that you think are mundane, and then we're going to talk about opening your third eye. When you start to open your third eye and you can kind of see the deeper layers of things, you can kind of see into the astral realm, you can kind of see the I don't know what to say. This really supernatural stuff, you guys. And I laugh about it because you gotta laugh, you gotta have fun. But some of this stuff is like, it can be really, honestly, like, uh, you know, negative. Like, it can, like, I just see a lot of things go on where, like, I don't know. It comes down to the people's choice. And it can be hard when people don't realize they have a choice. And that's when I try to help as much as I can, but ultimately I also have to respect people's boundaries and where they are in their journey. But just for anyone who's listening to this, just something to be aware of, because yeah, like whether it's like, drama, um like there's lots of drama that goes on, or fear, or lots of um like really like mental illness, really negative thoughts, people really having hard times, weird things happening, people getting in like fights, or just weird things, and maybe some of these things are part of your soul's blueprint, but a lot of times I find a lot of these things are really not necessary. We think that they're normal because it's been a part of our normal reality, but as you become sovereign, it's like you don't have to like constantly have all this drama going on in your life, like, whether it's actual drama with people, or with yourself, or with situations. There's a lot of that I see that, it's like, that's why I'm kind of talking about coming back into your heart, because a lot of that, if you're really honest with yourself, it's not necessary. And it's like the more you play in it, the more it's going to keep manifesting for you. So the key is to really start to just let it go. And like, that's why I say, before, let go of that stuff that's killing you. And I understand, because I'm the same way. We're all this way, and I see it in myself and I see it in others. But oftentimes it's like we can be really resistant to letting things go for whatever reason. We have like attachment, people, we can have attachments to things, ideas around things, um, just habits. Like, I don't know. It's interesting, or sometimes maybe it's just it's a matter of having the courage to just do the unknown, just do something unknown. Well, I've always had drama. I've always had this problem with this person. I've always had this problem with this sickness. I've always had this problem with, XYZ, and we have these stories around it. And I posted a clip. I posted a clip yesterday of a comedic sketch, and I thought it was funny. It was obviously he was just having fun, but he was just saying like, I'm not very good at explaining jokes, but basically just like stop it. That's like the keys. Like, just because, and sometimes it's necessary for us to go and explore the stories we have to why we're disempowered or why we can't quit our addictions and things like that. Sometimes it's necessary. Oh, in my childhood I had this, or I have these belief systems, or whatever it is. Sometimes it is important to recognize that. But then there's also times when it's like, okay, like, but stuff, like, just who cares? Like, just let it go. Like, just let it go. Like, all these stories around it, sometimes the stories around it can act like it makes you feel more compelled almost to keep doing this, because it's like, oh well, I'm a victim. It's like, oh well, I'm a victim to these things. I've always been this way. My parents did this to me. And again, that's when that warrior spirit comes in at a certain point, and it's like, just stop. Like, don't even go there. Like, don't even go there. Don't even, like, all these excuses and stories and fears. Oh, if I do something different, I don't know what's going to happen. Just don't even go there. It's like, just pursue your highest path. I really want to, I guess that's really what this is so important, is just pursue your highest path. Be brave, be courageous. I feel like people listening here, you're already on this path. So I might be preaching to the choir, but just want to encourage you, because it is so worth it, and you really can achieve extraordinary things in your consciousness and in your life and in your experience. You really, really can. And it's just, I see this a lot, and I feel like I'm just being shown this a lot of, like, um you know a lot, maybe people that they just don't go that extra mile. I don't know if they don't believe in themselves, or they don't um they're afraid of the unknown. I feel like it's that, and they might allow themselves to get pulled into these old stories, these old narratives. And there's no judgment about these things, but it's just a reminder. I just want to be, I guess, a reminder that if you keep just, even if you make mistakes, it's okay, but keep coming to your highest self. Be brave. Let go of those things that don't serve you, even though you don't know what might happen if you stop playing in those dramas, if you stop playing in those stories or in these things that you don't resonate with anymore. Because this is a thing, you guys. I'm just, I try to be really honest with you. My guides, my higher self is very blunt with me, and I love that. I ask for that because I don't want the bullshit. I don't need it to be sugar coated anymore. It's like, just lay it on me. So that's kind of how I feel sometimes too. Obviously I'm only covering in love, and I only hope to inspire and assist with all of these things, but I also like to be a little blunt because, to me that's activating. To me that's activating. But what I was saying is, because there's something it's important to realize, is that when you're going towards your highest path, it's not always easy, because it's like there's things that are going to try to keep pulling you back down into that density. And again, it's not about being a victim or being paranoid or being however you want to see it. It's just literally, it's just how this is. It's just how this reality is, because you're in this denser reality. Like people call it 3D. You're trying to come into 5D. You're trying to come into this literal higher. It's not a place, it's a frequency, it's a state of being. You're trying to come into this higher place. So naturally, like, you have to literally rise, and you have to be fully committed and devoted. And if you do that, you're really going to have a good time. I'm telling you. You're going to have these challenges, but you're really, really going to have a good time. Versus, like, if you're kind of like half and half, you're trying to half-ass it and you're trying to rise, but you keep giving into like a lot of these things that are trying to pull you back down into the matrix, you know, that can be tricky. So I guess I just want to, I don't know if somebody needs to hear that, but that's just what kind of wanted to come out today. And again, I say that with all the love. It's just something to be aware of, like, because I see it all the time. And people sometimes will refer to this as the demiurge, or like, do you ever notice sometimes, say you're talking to someone, or you're helping, maybe you're talking to someone and you're having like a really inspiring conversation, and you're like, perhaps you're even really helping them, and then like something might just come out of left field and like try to completely derail that whole conversation. Like, you know what I mean? It's like weird things like that. And again, it's not about being paranoid or negative. It's just reality. And for me, I don't see it that way anyways, because I'm, again, like I said in the beginning, I'm at this point where I have so much love. You can't make it up. You can't make this shit up. Like, when you have so much love, You just have to cultivate this love within you, and it starts with yourself. Love yourself, nourish yourself, take care of yourself, have sacred boundaries. Don't let people walk all over you. Literally honor yourself. You have to honor yourself, and then you can start to really have more love for others, for everything around you. Just feel that love. It truly is life-changing. And it just makes it so much easier to walk this path, I feel. It's interesting. So just remember, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Because it's that love alone that brings you to this higher state. And I don't even know how to explain it today. Like, like some days maybe I can explain it better than others, but you know, it's a real thing. It's really powerful where we're at right now. It's like that's what I was saying. Is like we have this love. When you have it's like you naturally like start to spiral higher and higher and higher. It doesn't even matter what's going on. It's like you have this love within you. You start to cultivate this love. And how do you do that? You start to have, again, you start with yourself. You have love. You start to have gratitude, you know, gratitude to be here, to be alive, to be healthy. Hopefully you're healthy, to have a house, to have running water, to have candles. Simple things, very simple things. You don't have to be a millionaire to be grateful. The sun came out today, or you have a favorite song. We have these juicy experiences we get to have on earth, and you're here. Think about how much you've been through, and you've been able to have all those experiences, potentially dark nights of the soul. You've been able to have all of these experiences, and now you're, you know like when I look back at some of my really dark nights of the soul, I didn't think I was even going to make it. And I don't think I don't want to experience that again, but I am so happy I experienced it. It's like, yes, like, thank God I experienced that, because that is some serious power and wisdom that came out of that, now that I have that under my belt. So that's something to be grateful for. And it's a momentum. That's the key. It's like it might be slow at first, especially if you feel like you're starting at rock bottom, but you just start to just intend it, start to have more gratitude, more gratitude, more gratitude, and even if you dip, it's okay. Because another thing to be aware of is there's naturally a lot of times you have like a lot of things in life are like a sine wave. So even in your ascension process, it's almost a lot of times it feels kind of like wah, like, you might have these like you have like cycles within yourself, cycles where, okay, your ego just came out, and maybe you're having issues, you're feeling anxious or angsty or sad or whatever, something's coming up for you. Maybe that takes a few days, but then you break through it and you have this like revelation moment, and then it's like all these messages and wisdom pour in, and then it's like you ascend even higher. And then at some point maybe another ego gets triggered and it kind of dips your energy down, but you just keep flowing upward, because it's all part of the process. What it really is, what it really comes down to, I feel like, in your heart, it's the commitment you have to yourself. Are you committed to yourself? Are you committed to this journey? Are you committed to this ascension journey? Are you committed to serving humanity? Because all of these things are one. All of these things go hand in hand. The more you commit yourself to that, and have gratitude for that, because it really is an honor. Gratitude for all these little things. I feel like people always talk about this. It is the law of attraction. So it's like people hear this all the time, but it's just a reminder. This really is how reality works. Like, we're not bullshitting you, but like, you can't cheat the universe. Like, you have to actually do that shit. Like, you have to actually do the work to cultivate the love and the gratitude. And that's where a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to do that. And then they just want to stay bitter. That's another thing that I feel like I sometimes I see is like, and I understand it, again, because I've been there, but you really don't want to stay bitter. You have every reason to stay bitter, because there's many things in life that happen that can make us jaded and bitter. But ultimately, if you stay stuck in those states, you're really only hurting yourself. My higher self has made it very clear to me, that there's really, again, you got to have your experiences, but and feel through everything fully, but it's when you stay stuck and you dwell in those states of bitterness, because it feels good in a weird way, doesn't it? Sometimes to the ego, it's like, oh, oh, I'm just so mad. Like, it's like we play into that, like, that ego, and it's strange how it can almost be like pleasurable in a way. But, ultimately you're going to burn out, and that state is going to keep you kind of stuck. It's just so crazy, you guys. It's like, think of it. I mean, it really is like a sacred geometry. We are sacred geometry. We are fractals. So, in every single way, what we believe, what we feed ourselves, not just food, but, information wise, what we believe, what we see, what we think, what we feel is creating our reality. And we're at this point where reality is so trippy, you guys. I mean, I think we can all agree here. It's not, I mean, it's our perception is changing, so it's actually making the reality trippier, if that makes sense. So it's like you notice it more and more, a little bit faster, because that's another quality of 5D energy, is like instant manifestation. So, that's another reason why we got to kind of practice this first, because, maybe you don't always want the things you think to immediately manifest. That's why you got to practice, that's why there is a divine order to these things of practicing our feelings and our thoughts, and how they start to amplify as we ascend in consciousness, and things start unfolding way faster, because you start to get in the groove, like I talked about last time. You start to find the groove, and you just groove. Maybe it's an exciting groove, and then maybe it's an angry groove, and then it's an exciting groove or sad groove, and you just keep grooving, and it's like magic happens. And you might lose the groove, and then that's when you really start to feel weird, is when you lose the groove, because you think, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or the groove isn't supposed to go like that, when the groove is going like that. It is what it is. You can't deny the groove. It's like the groove's going like that, so you just have to find it, and you have to flow with it. And that's when you unlock this magic. It's hard to explain, you guys, and if anyone wants to try to share in their own way, I invite you to, because the more people that can use their voice to share these experiences, the better. But again, I think it's just, I really want to emphasize, like, because I seriously am mind blown when I wake up, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, or that, everything is always like perfect and ideal, because it's not like that. But the fact that I wake up in these states of like love and gratitude and peace, to me, that's a miracle. To just do that again and again and again. It's like, oh, I have all this creativity. I have all this beauty. I have all this love. I have all this infinite stuff to tap into. It's like, man, I just love life. Like, this is awesome. you know and again, it's like, so I guess a big part of what I'm trying to say there again is like, all this inner work is so worth it, because it's not about the reward, it's just about doing it. But and when you just do it just to do it, you end up being so rewarded. It's like, whoa, wow, like, it's really happening. So it's so beautiful. So, if anyone has any other comments or anything they want to say about that, feel free. I'm going to go read through the chat now, and then we can kind of segue into the third eye, starting to talk more about the third eye stuff, because I just want to share some stuff on that that's been coming up. Beautiful. Tea time. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Ashman, not thinking, yet not dreaming, ready for whatever may come. When the opponent expands, I contract. When he contracts, I expand. When there is an opportunity, I do not love. It loves all by itself. Beautiful. Eternal truth. Plant medicine is a good tool to help heal the soul. Agreed. Yeah. Definitely played a big role in my awakening. Thanks for the reminder. Amanda, pursuing the higher path often feels terrifying, but the actual challenges are not that difficult after taking the leap to confront them. A big fear is believing worst case scenario thinking. Yeah. That is facts. It's funny too. And that really frames perfectly what I was trying to say, is like, it's interesting how it can feel terrifying. Pursuing that higher path can feel terrifying to the ego, because it's the unknown, right? But in reality, is it not true that when you don't pursue your higher path, terrifying things actually happen, like legit. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny, we think terrible things are going to happen if we make these like changes for ourselves, but really it's the opposite. A lot of times, like doing what we need to do, it feels like the hardest thing because of a choice we might have to make in a moment. But you know, not doing the right thing, it's like a slow, drawn out kind of torture, because we're just kind of sitting here like in this like mixed up energy. I don't know if that makes sense. That's how I feel. Breathe light into our age. Yay for Regan, blasts of life, light, and love. Thank you, Transcode du jour. Hello, Olivia. Thank you so much. Thank you for that beautiful super chat. That's so cute. It looks like, I don't know if that's a little dancing parrot. I like it. Thank you so much. Hello, Richard, Luminal Mind. Shout out to Luminal Mind channel. Definitely recommend checking out his work. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, Luminal Mind. AKA, that's who I'm talking to, my friend Richard. Again, I recommend checking out his channel. Really, really conscious, expanding stuff. Freak of Nurture. As a drummer, finding the groove is all about tuning in, feeling in, and listening to my bandmates. It's a wonderful feeling. Some drummers in the house. Yes, I love that. And this is why I think everyone is musical, and I encourage music for everyone. It's not just, not everyone's cut out to go out and perform, but just to be musical, just to practice music, to experience what that's like. Because whether it's by yourself or especially when you are playing with other people, it teaches you so much. I think that's another reason why I am the way I am, is simply because um, just learning music, it really does kind of teach you how to use your brain in different ways. Not just your brain, but your whole body, your heart, your soul, your spirit, for sure. Amanda says, sometimes I feel uncomfortable with how heavenly my life is because others seem to suffer so much, but I'm kind of rowing gently downstream. Beautiful. Yeah, I feel that. And that's something that I've been feeling. I guess that's kind of an impression I've had that kind of inspired me to talk about what I'm talking about, because it really is crazy. And honestly, even I am still coming to understand it more, And again, I have to remind myself that all we can do is continue to be the best versions of ourselves and anchor in these high vibrations, because that alone is service work, on an unseen level, because we're healing that ancestral trauma. We're healing a lot of the collective trauma. We're actualizing our own individual path. We're creating blueprints for people for what's possible. Oh, you can overcome generational trauma, people call generational curses. You can heal these patterns. You can do these things. You can achieve abundance. You can be the first person in your lineage to achieve a spiritual breakthrough, to achieve massive abundance, to achieve whatever it is. It's always possible. But what it takes, I guess this is really what I'm trying to explain, and it's coming up because I feel like everyone listening is, it's like we understand this. Is like, it comes down to, like, I feel like it's like your will, it's like your soul. Like, do you have the gall to walk that path? Because that's all you need. That's really all it takes, is the commitment to that will of, like, I'm gonna do it. That's really all it takes, because even if you fumble or make mistakes, you're still gonna find it. But if you don't have the will, and because I feel like that's what I see, and sometimes in situations around me, it's like, I in the past, it's like I'd be the first one to try to honestly, like, break my back trying to save everyone and pull everyone out of the water. And I've just learned, that person has to have the will. They have to really have the will. um Obviously I'm always trying to help people. I still, that's kind of what I was saying too. It's like when you have this overflow of love, you are able to assist people a lot more. So that's another reason why it's so important to get yourself into these states. But yeah, it's so important, for other people to have this will, because a lot of times, I just know in the past, a lot of times I've really put myself out there to try to help people, and many times it's been such a blessing, and it's, and not that I'm a savior or something, but it's just, just offering what we can, because we're all meant to help each other. But yeah, I think that's just what it comes down to. It's like the will. And I think the more that people like us continue to use our voice and rise and just be and share our stories, just share our vibrations, share our light codes, share our joy with the world, share our creativity with the world, naturally, naturally people can see, wow, like, look at that person's doing. Like, that person's happy. There was years ago where, I was in such a dark place that I was like, is anyone even really happy? Because I'm miserable and everyone around me is miserable. Like, can anyone even ever be happy and free here? It's actually a real question. And a lot of people might still have that question. So when people see you and they're like, wow, that person is literally like, look at that person just shining and glowing. It's like people see that and they're inspired by that it, whether it's consciously or subliminally, it's like you just activated codes in them of like, oh yeah, like I could be doing that. Why am I over here miserable when I could be living my best life? So thank you guys so much. So beautiful. Eternal truth. I'd rather fail 1,000 times and still keep trying than to never try at all. Exactly. Beautiful. Thank you, Ashman, for sharing Richard's channel. Yay. 1,000 this year. Totally doing it. I subscribed at 143. So whoever subscribes to Luminal Minds channel next will be 144. That's a special number. Wow. Beautiful. Okay, so I suppose we can segue right into the third eye. And I've decided I want to make a whole video on this, but I still just want to touch on this stuff for anybody who's here, because that's another thing. Now that I've had my little tirade about finding the love in your heart and just following it and trusting it no matter what, literally unconditionally, no matter what, because that's part of the warrior spirit that's blessing my life right now. Is like, even challenges arise, it's like, so what? Who cares? Not a big deal. Like, don't care. Like, not that I don't care, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's like, you don't got to be so reactive to things. I feel like so much we just torture ourselves sometimes, because it's like we just resist the resistance, and it creates this feedback loop. It's like, okay, challenges arise. Like, not really a big deal. Like, honestly, I still love myself. I'm still an eternal being. I'm still here. I'm still going to do my best. I still have God force energy literally pumping through my veins like insane. You know what I mean? So, I'm in my own lane. That's how I feel. I'm totally in my own lane. I'm unbothered. And that's what I'm trying to say. And that's the law of attraction that I'm talking about. Is it's like, you get to that point, and so you're not so worry that things that you need to worry about, it's like they don't even arise as much, and you keep, it's like that 0 point. I don't know how to explain it. The only way I can see it in my mind's eye, it really is like a spiral. It's like a torus. Is that what it's called? Like a torus field. It's like, you just, everything starts to get into alignment, again with the groove, everything just kind of starts to fall into place. You know what I mean? It's like you don't even got to control it. You don't even got to force it. In fact, it's the opposite. You don't want to control it, because when you control it, you lose the groove. It's like, fall back into place, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. All the drama, the drama we put ourselves through. It's like, I'm tired of that. We don't need all that drama, just hit us with the truth. That's why I was talking about being blunt with myself, and why I tend to be blunt here. Of course, always with the most love. I'm not trying to be, I don't think I need to be brutal, but blunt is good, because, we all got to live our best lives. Aren't we excited for that? I know I am. Okay, I digress. Ooh, this is really good though. Spiral, inspire, inspiration, spires in cathedrals, Cathedrals are cathodes to the divine. Yeah, spiral. And that's beautiful. I love that. I love breaking down the English language. Thank you, Ash, man. Thank you so much for the stats. Wow. We're at video number 107. Soon number 108. That's going to be my next one. And that's really, I see that. That's a number I see all the time is 108. 133,000 views. Wow. Beautiful. What an honor. Okay. Let's get into the third eye stuff because this stuff is fun. Again, with the stuff I was saying before, I feel like that's the foundation, because if you want to use your third eye, if you're not grounded in this love and in your heart, it's it actually might be a disaster because you might not have that discernment or that love for yourself. So it's like you could go on like a schizophrenic tirade if you're not already grounded in that love. Love is the most important thing. Really, it is, above all other things. If you have love, you'll be protected, you'll be clear, you'll be guided. Love in any form, true love, will always guide you to where you need to go. So simple, right? It's so simple, it's so profound. It's lots of nobility and simplicity. Okay. So the reason I want to talk about this is, and I'm curious to see, for everyone that's listening, if you want to share, it'd be cool to share in the chat, but if you want to at least share telepathically or not, you don't have to. Wherever you are in your journey as far as opening your third eye, if you feel like you've done it a lot, if you see really clearly, if you're still working on it, because the thing about that is it's kind of similar, and I'm probably going to use this analogy several times, to fitness in a way. Where you think like, oh yeah, opening my third eye. And what do I mean by that? Like we all have psychic abilities. It's actually part of our higher DNA, that what scientists call junk DNA, literally. That's our higher DNA, and that's our higher gifts and our higher abilities. So again, as we ascend, as we follow this higher consciousness, new parts of our DNA literally come online. And a lot of it has to do with the sun as well, and just, again, tapping into these higher states of consciousness. And that's when you start to activate your psychic abilities. So, if you've probably already noticed this, but more and more we are activating our higher abilities naturally. So there's a lot of momentum already happening naturally. So if you felt like in the past you had a hard time with this, don't give up on yourself, because I would say it is getting easier and easier to start to tap into these things. And it is a natural process. But I just want to talk about, it's something worth investing your energy into, practicing your imagination, because that's what the third eye is. It's your imagination. They try to act like imagination is just, made up stuff. And actually, that's one of the greatest things that started to awaken me when I first started awakening. Is it was kind of getting hit with a lot of different things, harsh truths. As our awakening, many of us have had awakenings like that. But one of the things that really struck me was like, when I was asleep and I was waking up, it's like, man, I literally can't see shit. like in my third eye, I'm like, I can't see shit in here. I think there's a meme that says something like that. And it seriously disturbed me, because I was like, I had this memory that I'm supposed to be able to see stuff in there. Like I really could remember, like that's naturally how this works. Like I'm supposed to be able to like see stuff in here, and it's just nothing, So that was actually one of the things that really woke me up. And since then, I've learned a lot of different ways. There's lots of things you can do to start to open your third eye. Physically detoxing heavy metals, for the love of everything good in this world, not drinking the fluoride that's everywhere in the toothpaste and the water. I think we all know that. That calcifies your pineal gland like no other. Things like that physically. And also, this is where it's really important, is your third eye is a muscle. It's literally a muscle. See, it's like fitness. You have to work it, because if you don't work it, it'll weaken pretty much. This is just my experience. If you don't work it, it'll start to, um, you just won't have it as much. Honestly, it's like any muscle, you know, it's like if you don't move your body ever, your body's going to get weak. It's the same thing with your third eye. If you don't ever practice your imagination, you don't practice that stuff, your third eye is going to get weak. And you might think that doesn't affect you a lot. But let me tell you, activating your third eye and being able to see past your just physical eyes, because it's supposed to be a trinity. You know, you have a left eye, you have a right eye, two eyes, duality. You know, the human condition is always two. You know, two is a hard number because it's that split. The third eye is supposed to bring harmony. The third eye is the trinity. It's literally supposed to be there. Like like you're supposed to see beyond the veil, you know. And you can. And really anyone can do this. You know, there are people perhaps that are more naturally psychically inclined than others, but whether that's in your lineage or not, if it's not in your lineage, it's just been buried. You know, again, be the first person to bring it back up. So really that's the core of it, is like starting to intend it. And because, you know, for example, you might think, this is a really good analogy, like I don't want to worry about, you know, diet and exercise because I don't have time for that. When in reality, your diet and exercise is affecting every single part of your life. You know, it's affecting how you feel, it's affecting your relationships with people, it's affecting your creativity, it's affecting your how productive you are, it's affecting the quality of your whole life. You know, so it's like that's when you realize, like, oh, I guess I should make time for, you know, eating healthier, or moving my body, movement, medicine, exercise, because it actually affects your whole life. It's the same thing with your third eye. When you start opening your pineal gland, you start opening your third eye, you start tapping into your imagination on a daily basis, it changes the whole quality of your life. Literally everything becomes different. It's so flippin' awesome, you guys. I think this is another reason why I feel like I'm in heaven on earth, because I'm like, do you remember when you were like a little kid and you were so tuned into your imagination and shit was just awesome, you know? um, you know, hopefully, you know, many of us have at least had that experience. Even if we had childhood trauma, we can remember our natural abilities when we were children were really powerful. It's like I remember, you know, and even when you see kids, you know, like kids that are able to be free and healthy, it's like their imagination is just like they're just, you know, they're just like creating stories, they're just like seeing things, they're dreaming huge, like they're just laughing at everything, and they're dancing and singing, and it's just like freedom, and they're really tuned in. So really know, like, your imagination really is the portal to starting to see beyond this physical realm. It's really, really important to know that, because a lot of times we have doubt about that. Oh, I'm just making it up. Well, it's probably true. It's probably got, you know, when we have dreams or daydreams, visions, even if we aren't always able to understand it, you know, it's probably happening somewhere, or it's symbolic for something, whatever it is, you know. It's so, if you're not already doing this, I really, really, really encourage people. And it's so simple. It's so simple because, again, the first step is starting to intend it more, to just actively intend it, because it really will change the quality of your whole life. Everything you do is going to be different, because you're going to start to be able to see past like the mundane stuff, and you start to see some of this crazy supernatural shit that I'm talking about. And it's so helpful. You know, one, it's so inspiring and beautiful, like I was just saying, because you're literally, it's like, again, it's kind of like being a child. It's like you have this level of freedom. You're literally able to tap into anything. You know, you're able to, anything you can imagine. You're able to actually like experience it and gain wisdom and information, and um, just experience from it, you know, which is a blessing for your spirituality, for developing creativity or getting creative ideas, whether it's for art or a room, designing something, making something, music, singing, gardening, anything. It's like our imagination is how our higher selves communicate with us. Straight up. It's literally the key. So, you know, you want to talk to your higher self more, or you want to talk to your guides more, you know, it's really a matter of starting to come back into your imagination. And so that's something that, I would encourage people to do every single day, especially in the morning and at night. When you wake up and before you go to bed, that's when it seems to be the most active naturally. But as much as you can throughout your day, start to use your imagination in any way. And people think it's all about vision. And the vision is important, because we live in a world where like people watch TV, so we think, oh, I need my third eye to be like a TV. And it is like that for some people. It can be like that. It's like you can just sit here and watch these things in your third eye. It's more than a TV because it's actually like happening. You're actually, you actually are experiencing it. But don't be discouraged if it's not crystal clear or if it's more visceral. For many people, it's more visceral. It's more of a feeling. It's more of a knowing. Or when you first start, again, if your muscle isn't super strong yet, because it's literally a muscle, you might have to practice, every day consistently, even just 5 to 15 minutes a day. Just that's enough every day. Start practicing using your third eye because it'll change your whole life. It really, really will. In every single way. It brings more fun and love and creativity and connection. And it also brings more discernment and understanding. You wouldn't even believe the shit that I see, like going out in a public arena. You wouldn't even believe the shit that you could see. And I don't know why I say that, but it really changes like everything. It's like, whoa, like reality truly is crazy. There's a lot of supernatural stuff going on in every spectrum, in every way. So, how empowering it is to be able to see that. And it makes you just understand things a lot deeper. It's like you don't have as much judgment for people because you see with your third eye, you might see literally what they're going through. And you're like, yeah, like, wow, it's like you have more compassion for people because you see, like, damn, like, you know what I mean? So there's lots of different things that will change as you start to open your third eye. You just start to see things differently, completely. And you start to get this guidance to come in. So, but as I was saying before, it might be visions, it might be seeing, it might be feeling, it might be you just, this is how I started because I feel really deeply. That's my most natural sense is I would just in meditation, I would just allow myself to feel and I would intend to connect with my higher self, um, you know, or connect with beloved guides. And I would feel and I would just learn how to translate those subtle vibrations. It's a practice. How to translate, what is this? What does this mean? What is this saying? Or sometimes it's just a knowing. You just know it. Sometimes you hear it. You might hear it. You might just hear the answer, or you might just hear, it might come in all of these forms. It might seem fuzzy at first, but the more you do it, it starts to become crystal clear. And this is another way that I think this is another reason why I'm having this heaven on earth experience is because I'm always tuning into that and I'm always honoring it and I'm always listening and I'm always experiencing like, yeah, like that's the truth. And that's another reason why I have to say, could bring this back in, is being sovereign and having these force fields of love light around me is because I know I'm sovereign. I know I'm sovereign. So I know because I already set these boundaries in my intentions, and I've already talked about shielding. I'm sure you guys know, but if not, I can talk about it again or make another video on it more specifically again. But it's like when you have those force fields of love light up and you already set your intentions for what you want in your energy this day, you're not going to be worrying about, because let's be honest, like there's lots of astral entities and so like channeling, everyone can channel. Channeling is like breathing. Everyone can channel. Naturally, we're always channeling. It's actually really simple. Um, it's just a matter of being aware, you know, I'm channeling and then starting to discern, having discernment for what am I channeling? Because just because you're channeling doesn't always necessarily mean it's something wise. Maybe you're channeling your ego. Maybe you're channeling some random astral entity that's playing a joke on you. That's why I'm saying it's important to have these boundaries because then you don't even have to worry about that stuff. You don't have to worry about negative things trying to manipulate you. I know this is really multidimensional, and I hope it makes sense to people. I'm always trying to push this higher consciousness, but I feel like, again, sovereignty is a core teaching, because you just can't let these negative things fuck with you, because they'll manipulate you. And it's not like you need to be paranoid about it, but you just got to be aware of it, because I just see it all too often. So when you have these force fields of love light, you have those strong intentions, you don't even have to worry about that. So it's really, really powerful. And when you're channeling and you practice and you just start to know, you just know your higher self's voice. You just know how your higher self feels. You just know Yeshua. You just know how Jesus feels. You just know you have a relationship. You just, and however it unfolds for you, Divine Mother, Divine Father, Archangel Michael, these beloved, benevolent guides, you literally feel them. And again, a lot of people get discouraged because they don't see, but sometimes, um, you know, it can almost be more. You can be almost more easily fooled by something appearing as something that it's not. But when you can feel it, like it can't lie. It's like it's love. You can feel it. It's love. You can feel it. If it's dishonest, it's not in its integrity, then you can feel it. And so, you have that discernment. Hello, Anna. Everybody say happy birthday to Anna. Today is literally her birthday, and she is so beautiful. She's just one of the most beautiful people you could ever meet, and she has blessed my life so much. So happy birthday, Anna, my Aquarian sister. So good to see you. Okay. So yeah, I just want to talk about that, and I encourage everybody to um, really, really just think about it. Just think about opening your third eye. It's actually a very, very much very worth your time, because again, it's going to change everything in your life. So how to do that? One, start intending it, and two, start using your imagination. And three, this is number three, but it probably should have been number one. But I already talked about this before. Is shielding with force fields of love light. Literally, I am love light. I invoke the I am love light within me. Feel it. It's your light. It's God's light. It's that light that's coming into your body now, and it's filling the whole space around you. And you set an intention. I don't consent to any infringement. I don't consent to any negative energies or entities or technologies or AI or anything in my field today. Period. I am love light. You know, set those firm boundaries, sacred boundaries with the universe. It's so important, you guys. It's so important. So I think that's why, earlier we were talking about positive and negative, because it's duality, and you got to be able to navigate it. You can't just be blind and act like this stuff doesn't exist. Because why do I talk about this? It's not because I just want to harp on all this negative stuff. It's because when you learn how to really have boundaries, you have this boundary relationship with like the inverted and the negative stuff that's just a part of this reality, you literally soar. It's like, holy shit. It's like, you just gotta admit, again, I can only say from my experience, but you gotta admit that, like, there's resistance. There's maybe some of it's just random resistance, some of it's nefarious resistance. So just it's like, you might as well do yourself a favor and recognize it, not be afraid of it or paranoid of it. It has no power over you unless you let it. And one of the ways sometimes we let it is we don't acknowledge it. We're like, oh, that's not, negative entities don't exist, it's not real. And they're tricking you. Don't let them trick you, because literally once you cut off that stuff, you have sovereignty. You literally, like, it's like, whoa. It's like, yeah, all that stuff, all that drama, all this stuff, it's like, that seems random, like random people coming up and attacking me or starting stuff with me, or like random, like, tragic things, whatever it is. It's like, maybe that doesn't have to be a part of your everyday experience. you know Maybe you can dare to experience more and more on heaven on earth. And if something negative happens, it's not You don't have to beat yourself up about it. Again, just keep going. Learn from it. Learn the lesson and shake it off, because in every moment you have a choice to be free, no matter what's happening. Even if you make a mistake, even if you accidentally, whatever, maybe you make a choice and it puts you in a little lower timeline. Well, just recognize it. It's not a big deal. You come right back up. Recognize it, learn the lesson, and you come right back up. Not a big deal. Really not a big deal. And that's what I'm trying to say is like people get stuck on things. It's this like self-torture stuff where people get hung up on things. They're like, ooh, like why did I do that? It's like then they get fixated on this and they have these stories and these stories. Well, I can't get out of it because now I did this and I keep doing that and I keep doing that. And it's been with me since childhood and this past life. Just don't even go there. Like, don't even go there with it. Just, you have a choice right now in the present moment, what you choose to do. Every single moment, it's infinite abundance. We have such a literal infinite, you want to talk about abundance, we have this infinite abundance of the present moment, because it's now, and now it's now, and then now it's now, and then now it's now again. It's just like it's now again, and then in 1 minute it's still going to be now. It's just like infinite abundance. And so, okay, maybe 5 minutes ago I said something really dumb, or I had these negative thoughts. So what? Who cares? Literally, who cares? Just keep going. It's not a big deal. It's like we got to let go of that self-torture. It's like, just let it go. Just be present. Just come back and surrender in your stillness. What do I need to do now? Okay, maybe I made a mistake. I was on a lower timeline. I did something dumb. Not a big deal. What do I need to do now? Maybe I need to take a shower, or like cleanse myself, or maybe I need a journal, maybe, or whatever. Maybe I need to go on a nature walk or sing or just do something, just like boom, just reinvent the moment again. Just and sometimes, maybe you had a little, maybe say you made a mistake, you went down, okay, and then you come back up, and then it's like you might even just have launched yourself even higher, because you experienced that resistance. You're like, oh, or like, oh yeah, that's how that lower timeline feels. It's like, oh, like, ew, I don't want that. I definitely don't want that. So then you're like, psh, like never again. You never know how things are going to unfold. So just remember to trust the process and claim back your power and your free will. We have free will. That is a gift. You don't got to be stuck. Maybe you have things in your Akashic records that you're supposed to experience. Maybe it is for your highest good and you can do those things. But at any given moment, no matter what somebody tells you, you can always choose. You always have free will. You're here on earth now. You have free will. You can change. You can experience the life you want to experience, and just have love and understanding and wisdom for how you truly want to be and how you want to influence others. Because it's truly, like I said before, it's not just about us. You got to get to that point where you love yourself and you honor yourself, and that's the energy I'm talking about. That's what I feel like when you really start to access the heaven on earth. It's like you really love yourself. Like you're not sitting here demeaning yourself or torturing yourself. You're not sitting here wondering why so and so doesn't see you or doesn't understand you. You're not really bent out of shape about any of that stuff. You're not letting people walk all over you. You're not taking things personally because you're secure in yourself. You're actually, that's what humility really is you're so secure in yourself. So when you have that, you start to just overflow with love. And then that's the point when it's like, okay, I have so much love and abundance. I love my life. I'm literally in ecstasy. It's like, how can I help others? I feel like it's this old paradigm where it's like sometimes people, I don't know, how, I don't know, for some, I'm just going to trust it. It's coming up. But sometimes people in the past will access things like that. They'll have a lot of wealth or a lot of power or a lot of fame, a lot of influence. And it's their free will on how they choose to use that. But I just want to invite people, it's like, maybe we don't have to at that, once you're at that point when you're so overflowing, maybe we don't have to be so selfish. Maybe we don't just have to constantly, just like jack off our egos and go and go. It's like, maybe it's like, no, at that point, that's when you're supposed to start reaching out and helping people, helping people in your community when you have that, whatever it is. If you have a lot of love, it's like, there's many people who could benefit from that, or whatever the case is. So I just want to encourage more charity. It's like people want to complain about these things. People, oh, there's hungry people, or oh, whatever. Like, what about, what about the children, or what about the elderly? And it's like, that's beautiful to have that concern, but it's like, okay, but like, are you actually going to do something about it? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Even if it's sending love, don't underestimate that. Like, take a moment out of your busy day to send love to the children, and they need it. They're very important. I mean, everyone is important, but, actually take a moment to send love for the children, or even take a moment to actually, feed the homeless, or, go to like these shelters, and I know that's kind of old school, and maybe a lot of people aren't there yet, but I mean, it's just something to think about in the back of your mind. It's like, how can you actually have a service? If you're going to complain about something, oh, there's so much this, there's so much that, all of this stuff. It's like, well, how can you actually like benefit it? Like, what's the real solution? Even if it is sending love, even if it is meditating, at least, don't underestimate how powerful that is. And then going to the next level and actually doing physical things, and you'll know what to do because your higher self will guide you, whether it's making a video, making a song, going out and actually doing something for somebody. Maybe it's somebody in your family. Maybe it's someone in your that in your personal life that could use some encouragement, or maybe it's a stranger. You never know, but I just want to encourage that because it's something I think about a lot. It's so normalized. It's so normalized to just like have success and then just like keep trying to get more and more and more, and obviously we're always expanding, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know, I just want to encourage like a more, like, that's that Aquarian energy we're getting into. It's more humanitarian. And even humanitarian, even that word, like, has been so inverted. You know what I mean? People say like George Soros is a humanitarian, or like these people that are literally out here doing crazy evil shit. Like, what? It's like, what about actual humanitarianism? And like, again, it has to start with yourself. And that's the journey many of us are on. But once we're on that self, it's like, how can we actually show up for humanity in ways that are simple oftentimes? It doesn't have to be some complex thing. And even if you're not there yet, just something to think about, because I wish for all of you the highest success, the highest abundance, the highest joy, the highest love, to just have support and community and continue to do that. And then once we reach that point, it's like, okay, then it's time to give back. How do we truly give back to those who are suffering? And I love what Amanda said earlier, because it is something I think about. It's like when we're able to feel this heaven on earth, and it's never something you should ever feel guilty about, because it's a lot of hard work to get here. I've had so many dark nights of the soul. I've had to feel shit in my family lineage that is so dense and so dark. That's something I felt a lot. Like, I come from honestly, just to be honest and vulnerable, and many of us have come from a lineage where people just been beaten down, man. Like, just beaten down so hard. It's heartbreaking. It really is. Like, it still brings me to tears. It's like, just literally, gosh, like, geez, it's dark, dense stuff. Like, how could people treat people like this? And that stuff doesn't just go away. It's like all that pain and that trauma, that frustration, that brokenness, that guilt, that shame. It's like, eventually someone has to come along in the family line and just like feel it and heal it and transmute it and make gold out of it. You know what I mean? I forgot what I was even going with that, but I just felt, that's the moment when I feel the Holy Spirit come in. I was a little bit, I feel like jittery at the beginning of this stream, and then finally, see, I'm a living example. It's like I let go, and it's like that fire is like able to just come through me, when it's like you get out of your own way. You just let it flow, find the groove. So that's so beautiful. I can't believe it's been an hour and a half, and all of you guys have stuck with me. Thank you so much. It really has not felt like that long for me at all. It feels like I just started. But yeah, so beautiful. So that's, I guess, the last thing I'll just conclude with is, even if you're not at that point yet, just think in the future. Like, once I am successful, because it already is, because that's how we use the law of attraction. It's not, oh, I hope I'm successful. It's like, when I am, or maybe I already am successful, but when I am overflowing in resources, then what do you want to do without limitation? Start a community, donate to a cause. Because think again, it's like we have so much fakery where it's like people donate to charities, and it's like, have most of these. I don't even donate to a lot of charities because it's like I don't trust them. But it's like when you're in a position where you actually know that that money or those resources are going to people who actually need them, things like that. Like thinking innovatively, that's the Aquarian energy, like, because that's where we find our joy, so much joy. Again, it's like there's a lot of joy in our ascension, in the material sense of having success. But again, it's like eventually it's like you're just going to keep, feeding your ego and feeding your ego, or you're going to actually continue to grow and expand and start feeding other people because you're so overflowing. That's my goal. That's something I think about, I really do, and it makes me really excited and grateful and just so beautiful. So I just feel so much love, and I know everybody here, I feel like really a lot of people really resonate with that, and that's really exciting because we really are the change we wish to see. And we're already doing it, and we're going to see it more and more. People that really come forward and walk the walk, and really do this stuff. There's so many fake examples of it, but now we're going to come forward and we're going to really do it. Like we're going to do it for real. Like we're really going to, yeah. We're really going to do it. It's really exciting. So I'm going to read some of these beautiful comments and see if anything else comes up, and then I'm going to jump off because it's been time, allegedly. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Anna. So beautiful. Love you so much. Luminal Mind says Regan is spitting, y'all. I was spitting, and I actually literally did see, like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was actually even spitting a little bit. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, turn towards the discomfort. Don't run from it. That's another thing. If I had to put a big another pillar, and why I feel like I'm living in heaven on earth, it's like it's that formula right there. It's like stop retreating and running from that shit. Just face it, confront it. It's never as bad as you think it's gonna be. If you spend all of your life running from it, that's torture. That's terrifying. That's you going to be in a whole world of shit all the time. Literally. I mean, am I wrong? That's just how it is. But when you finally just face it head on, you stop blaming people, you stop blaming situations, you stop making excuses, just face it head on. You'll literally be amazed. You'll be amazed at what you experience because it's like that's how you literally level up. Amanda says, I consider that maybe we face so many challenges to the higher state because when someone gets there, they can impact the collective more. So they need to pass a trial to prove their commitment to love. Beautiful. Yes. And then Luminal Mind says, we turn our tests into testimonies. Yeah, that's a really beautiful way to say it, Amanda. I really appreciate like just the way you say these things are so on point. Yeah. And you experience it. It's like because again, the more you make those bold decisions to be your greatest self, whether it's making a change in your life, it's doing something new, it's letting go of something old and familiar, it can be scary. It's like but then your higher self is able to give you more. And so you can show up more, and then you know what, your higher self then is going to be able to give you even more. That's how you be blessed in this new energy. That's the core of what I'm trying to say. That's truly how you will be blessed in this new energy, is like you show up for love, for yourself and for others. Literally just make that your whole priority, your whole first priority. And literally blessings just come out of nowhere. It's like, oh, here's this blessing. Oh, here's this blessing. Oh, a miracle happened. Oh, things just come out of the blue because that's when you tap into that energy of like literally your higher self, your guides, your team, literally, whether you see it that way or not. It's like you have a whole symphony supporting you. You know what I mean? It's like you just got to find the groove. You got to find what they got going on, because it might not be how your ego thinks. But the more you do that, the more power you will have, is what I'm trying to say. God gives you more power because you've proven yourself. You've proven that you will do the highest with it. And it's not like, and it's actually you know what I mean? Because many of us, it's like we have these, I don't know what they're called. It's like, I've definitely experienced this with myself, is like we have, like, I think they're called like fail safes, something like that. It's like we have like these fail safes in place for ourselves, because it's like, we want to experience these high things, and we don't even want, like, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. We don't want ourselves to get lost and corrupted. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very important we learn the love, because we don't want ourselves to like get totally off path. So it's like we have our own fail safes in here. So that's why sometimes, like, yeah, that's just how it works. You have to learn the lesson first, and do the work first, and then that's when, like, just raining blessings. Tonglen is Tibetan for giving and taking, and refers to a meditation practice found in Tibetan Buddhism. Tong means giving or sending, and Len means receiving or taking. Tonglen is also known as exchanging self with other. It's the 7th slogan under relative bodhicitta in Lojong. I don't know if I said that right, but that's really powerful. Yeah. Think about that. I think about that all the time. Giving and receiving, giving and receiving. You give more, you receive more. You receive more, you give more, and it just keeps expanding and growing, you know? So if you're feeling stuck, it's like open yourself up and receive, or go out of your way and give, whatever it is. It could be something financial, it could be just energetic, it could be love, it could be words of encouragement, it could be words of gratitude. Don't underestimate gratitude. Gratitude is so important. Showing gratitude to people is really, really important. Not just because it encourages them, which is also important, but it's important for you. That's something I've learned. It's like, it's really important to express your gratitude to people, because then it's like you get more and more blessed. Ashman, homework, wear a big hat. Yes, literally and metaphorically. If you can find what is it, a 30-gallon hat, cowboy hat, then you wear that shit. It's homework assignment. No, I'm kidding. I mean, if you can, why not? But wear a big hat. I love that. I love that, Ashman. I love that you come up with these beautiful assignments. I need to start taking stock, because we have some good ones, and checking in and seeing if people are able to experience these things. Like, I don't remember which one this was, but the homework was seeing how you can influence a room. It's really, really powerful. You can see it. That's when you start to recognize your power. You can change the whole vibe of a room. And I'll give you a hint, or I'll give you a tip. If you have music or dancing involved, it makes it a lot easier, because those things are so contagious. I've talked about it before, but literally, there's been times when I was with people, and it was like I could feel the energy was like de-escalating, and they were talking about politics, and that's just a shit show. What good comes of that? And it started, I could just feel the energy was like dipping and dipping and dipping, and I just bring out my drum and start beating on the drum, not in an intrusive way, but in just a fun way. And before you know it, those same people are getting up and dancing and literally singing. I'm not making this shit up. It's like I literally, like, that shit like flipped, you know what I mean? And everyone was loving it. It was really good. So things like that, don't underestimate. You can literally flip the vibe. And that's another reason I encourage everyone to get funky with music, because then you have this power. Again, it's a power for yourself, but it's also a power for others. It's like you can just pull out a drum and you can bring joy to a whole crowd of people. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty amazing. It really is. The reals unite. I love it. Welcome to the age of Aquarius. Everyone is going to get soaked. I love that. And it's like you can kind of feel it in the air too, because the sun is in Aquarius now, and the moon was in Leo, which is really great combo. That's really, really good because they're complementary. They're like across from each other in the zodiac. I wear a top hat and people come and talk to you. I believe it for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to Ashman probably about a month ago, probably due for another session here soon. Um, but we were talking about bringing back wearing hats because people don't really wear hats anymore. And so that'd be another interesting way you know, to recognize each other with our big hats, our silly hats. Oh, my friend watched one of your vids last week and she has already purchased some singing bowls. I love that. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, seriously, you guys, get funky with the music. Everybody is musical. It's a form of prayer. Singing and dancing is a form of prayer, really. That's how our ancestors used to do it, and that's how I do it. Like you tap into some magical stuff that you don't even know you were capable of. Hi, Jim. I wear a fedora and get swarmed by atheists. It feels bad, man. That's funny. I never knew that. I didn't know that like that's what would happen if you wore a fedora. That's I'm kind of interested in what is that? What's that all about? Hi Art of Arts, beautiful one. That's a beautiful channel. I also recommend checking out. Music is making patterns with frequency. It can be awesome or soul destroying depending on the wielder. Yeah, exactly. And that's another perfect example of this theme we've been having today, talking about duality. It's like a double-edged sword. Music has been a lot of things, there's been a lot of the music has been used to mess people up, and a lot of it is really fake. It's like, but that doesn't, but again, even that though, it's like that to me, it's like it has literally no competition when you hear like some serious soul bringing musicians, um, a musician or musicians that's what I'm saying. That's really what it's about. There might be a time and a place for like performing on stage and being really, really accurate and impressive. Maybe there's a time and a place for that, but that's not really what music is about. Music is really about channeling this higher love and being able to literally broadcast it through your voice, whether you're singing or chanting or speaking, or if you're just playing an instrument. It's an extension of your soul, literally. That's how powerful it is. So don't underestimate that. So for me personally, any day I would rather hear somebody who maybe is, I don't even want to say mediocre, but I would rather hear someone who's honest in integrity playing music than someone who maybe is really talented but absolutely has like no soul or care or doesn't care about other people. You know what I mean? So I just want to kind of change that. I feel like we got to come back into music because that's how our ancient ancestors did. And that's how our ancient future is with the power of sound healing, self-expression and integrity and love and truth, bringing that fully back. So powerful. Okay. Um, let's see. There's some memes about atheists and their penchant for wearing fedoras. Fedora are the official atheism hat. That's so funny. Well, rock on for you. Again, look at you. See, you're a trailblazer. You're changing the status quo. You're doing something different. So, I learned something new today. When you perform, your performance becomes aligned with the crowd. Exactly, exactly. You know, that's again. I've talked about this in my other video, but one of the biggest things uh, that woke me up was music and was the music industry, because seeing the beauty and the love and the next level of music, but then also seeing the corruption in the music and seeing how there's, people call it Illuminati. There's and I'm not even trying to go there, but it's like, yeah, it's like they're not doing it for the right purposes in my opinion. It's like, so that was something that woke me up big time because it's like, damn, they're actually doing like a cultist kind of shit with that, and not in a way that's empowering people. It's a way it's empowering them, again, selfishly, egotistically, materialistically. They're trying to harness people's energy, but that's not what music really, really is about organically. It's like music is actually meant to uplift everyone, or inspire everyone, activate everyone, heal everyone. It's expansive, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be something that literally amplifies everyone. And again, it has everything to do with your intention, if that's your intention. And again, that's just why I encourage more people, that especially people that are listening, if you're listening to this, to just like start thinking about, even if it's just a singing bowl, you don't have to be like someone who's going to shred the guitar. It's like you literally just just learn how to bong this little thing, and really get into it, and really treat it as sacred, because it is sacred. And that's something that we always need more of. It's like real music, people of integrity putting out real music, you know it, regardless of how good it is, as long as it's real. That's what really matters, is it's real, it's honest, it's truthful. Okay, I never want to go. It's so beautiful to be with you guys. It feels so good. Thank you so much for listening, for rocking with me, for rolling with me, for contributing your beautiful sacred time and energy in this space. I am going to conclude this now, as it really has almost been 2 hours of lots of fun. And I must go because my camera is going to die eventually. So thank you all again. So much love to every single one of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for, again, being here. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for, the chat and the comments. Lots of stuff going on behind the scenes. I do offer beautiful services, healing services that I've got a lot of good feedback from: R.A.A.H, Reiki, or Hypnosis, as well as teaching Reiki, A.U.R.A Reiki, and also I just opened up a new service of ascension coaching, where we can talk and flow and use a combination of tapping into your energetic field, your energy body, your guides, your higher self, your words, all of these things. So yeah, if you like me, if you like my work and you want to work with me, that's definitely an option. Check out my website, transformingthedarkness.com. Either way, I'm sending you all the love and gratitude and peace and excitement, because we're rocking it. We are the Lions. Full moon in Leo. Can you feel it? I feel it. I'm like, you better watch out, because I'm fired up. That's how I feel. So yes, let's just conclude this with a classic little beautiful, beautiful sound vortex, shall we? Thank you all again so much. All my love to all of you. You guys are so awesome. Just know you're so loved. You are so loved. You really, really are. Never forget it. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I'm going to be celebrating in Florida, so I'm going to be having a good time in the sun, because the sun is everything. The sun is big. Okay. So let's bring it back in for a moment, and let's just take a moment of gratitude. See, now's a perfect opportunity to cultivate that love and that gratitude, that beautiful, warm, tingly sensation within your heart, within your body. Just let it cultivate, let it permeate. Allow yourself to open your third eye and see it. To see the beautiful colors that are around you. Beautiful white, golden light. Seeing the colors of the rainbow, sacred. Intending that love and that gratitude as a force field around you. It's invincible. All day and all night. All night and all day. There it is. Powerful. Taking in those beautiful, benevolent breaths. Letting go of all that no longer serves you. Breathing in this beautiful powerhouse of a session. How blessed are we to be able to come together from all over the world, all across time and space, to be in this moment, to celebrate life, to talk about some real stuff that gets the God force energy flowing within us. I mean, what a blessing is that? It just fills my heart. And I'm just sending all of you so much love and gratitude and blessings. I hope for miraculous things for you today and for all the days. Sending so much love to all of humanity, to ourselves, to our family, our friends, our teachers, our guides, the people that inspire us, to all of the children, all of the women, all of the men, all of the animals, all the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, the beautiful creation. God bless all of it. We honor all of it. We see it. We just get so excited about it because it's so beautiful to be a part of it. And we have our own special role and experience it, and it's such a blessing. So may we all continue to activate ourselves, activate our higher abilities and DNA, our higher awareness, our love. May we all continue to embrace who we are and accept ourselves wholly as we are and flow. Just flow. May we all get to experience these states of heaven on earth and more and more and more, and use this overflow of love to assist humanity and to serve, to show people what's possible. You can break free out of the matrix. You can break free out of the mind control. You can break free out of the suffering and the tragedy and the trauma and the drama. As my friend says, the bullshit drama pageants. You can break free of it. It's not necessary. We are free. We are living free. We are living wholly. We are living powerfully. We are living radiantly. We are empowered. We are love. We are sovereign. We are sovereign. We are sovereign. We are sovereign royalty. We are royal divine children of God. And we don't consent to infringement. We are mighty. We come in the name of love, to be love, to give love, to serve love. And so it is.